Okay, so the Oklahoma Sooners four-star target Elijah Melendez, who's previously been committed to the University of Miami, has decommitted. So today we got to talk about what this means for Oklahoma and exactly where are they going to go next on the recruiting trail, because you've seen some news on the Christian Jones front as well. And if you're an OU fan, you might be getting a little antsy here. We're going to talk about it, discuss what OU is going to do. Before we do that, though, as always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that like, hit the subscribe button, join the discussion below. Give me your thoughts either on the Elijah Melendez decommitment, Christian Jones, or any of the other targets that Oklahoma is going after or potentially going after, because we're going to discuss it all today. But on the front of Elijah Melendez, he has decommitted from the University of Miami. So if you're an Oklahoma fan, you follow recruiting, you now might ask yourself, well, what does this mean for Oklahoma? Are they going to be able to go out here and get the four-star linebacker? We know he's visited Oklahoma a couple times. Well, I'm here to tell you, if you're an Oklahoma fan, you might need to pump the brakes just a tad bit. Here's the reason why. When we talked about Elijah Melendez earlier in the summer, the big thing with this recruitment was probably going to be NIL, right? Is he going to be able to earn a little bit more somebody else? But also, where's the development going to come from? Oklahoma can obviously touch both of those, but do you really want to dip into your NIL bag for a linebacker when you really don't need to take another one in this class? That's what I want a lot of Oklahoma fans to understand. You already have Marcus James committed in this class, so you've got one. You got one last year. You really could just eye your focuses into the offseason, take one out of the portal, and get probably 2 to 3 guys in the 2026 class. And the 2026 class at linebacker could be pretty deep for Oklahoma. So looking at Elijah Melendez here, out of the state of Florida, Kissimmee, Florida, 6'1.5", 224 pounds. He plays linebacker. If you're an Oklahoma fan, again, pump the brakes. It's probably going to be Auburn. If you have been watching recruiting going on, Auburn's on an absolute tear. Naeem Offord is probably about to flip from Ohio State over to Auburn. Auburn's been trying to make a push for Andrew Babalola, who we'll talk about here in a minute. They're going after a 4-star running back. Like, Auburn's trying to load this class up and make sure they are not falling behind in the SEC with Oklahoma and Texas coming in. So seeing Miami lose Elijah Melendez, I think a lot of people expected this to happen, but I don't think a lot of people are expecting this to come in favor of Oklahoma. So if you want more news on it, I think y'all should go over to 247 Sports, follow what they got going on over there. I know they're going to have some coverage on this as well, but just my opinion is I would not expect Elijah Melendez to be a heavily favored front for Oklahoma. I think if you're Oklahoma, you're still probably got your sights set on Christian Jones. Maybe something happens down the road with Elijah Melendez if things fall through with Auburn. Now, looking at Christian Jones, this has been another linebacker target that Oklahoma fans, you've been watching, you've been excited about. Now, Christian Jones, in a recent interview with Steve Wiltfong, says after his recent visit to Nebraska, they want the best players in the state to come play for Nebraska. That's the big message. The 4-star linebacker, Christian Jones, breaks down his visit. So you have to have a subscription to On3 to be able to go read that a little bit more in depth. But Christian Jones, being from that state, I think a lot of people have expected him to stay with the Cornhuskers, especially with the way Matt Rule recruits, the way he coaches, right? He coaches hard on defense. If you're an Oklahoma fan, again, Nebraska's probably going to win this one out. You saw how well they played against UTEP. They're already a 5-point favorite against Colorado. I expect Nebraska to probably spurt off 6 or 7 straight wins in a row. And at that point, I think Christian Jones is going to be a Cornhusker. So if you're Oklahoma, probably not another linebacker take in this class, but that's okay because you still have a big fish and Andrew Babalola. You're going out there. Obviously, you've heard the name Austin Pay. Nothing's really changed on that front, so we're not going to dive too deep into the weeds there. Andrew Babalola, though, you get him, possibly add him to the right tackle. Andrew Babalola would definitely make your offensive line class a lot deeper, and it would give Bill Bedenbaugh probably the recruiter of the year. Now, the interesting thing here is Austin Pay. As I talked about earlier in the week, the reason why that one's intriguing is because he wouldn't play till 27, but he definitely helps boost your class ranking. So it gives Oklahoma at least a head start in the 27 class, knowing what you have coming in. Austin Pay being out of Utah, he's going to be going on a mission. But looking at other targets that Oklahoma is going to be going after, just to give you all a quick reminder here. The first one is the defensive lineman that is currently committed to Florida. Now, if you all saw the video of the Miami player taunting Florida recruits and you watch some Florida staffers trying to keep the Miami players away from the Florida recruits, they were telling them, don't go here, right? Come to Miami, things like that. Joseph Mabachu was a guy that was on campus for that game against Miami. I think a lot of people are watching him and saying, is he going to be on flip watch? When you look at his offer sheet, it's 20 offers. But guys, his offer sheet is absolutely stacked. Obviously, you see he's committed to the University of Florida, but he's got Bama, he's got Auburn, he's got Georgia, he's got Texas, he's got South Carolina, he's got Tennessee, he's got LSU, he's got USC, he's got Power 4 offers, and some from schools that recruit and develop the defensive line position extremely well. This is a guy I expect maybe Oklahoma to even throw an offer out to and try to dip their toes into that water a little bit. Joseph Mabachu, when you watch his film, this dude's absolutely an explosive and somebody that I do think if Todd Bates gets him on campus, he could have a chance to win him. He gets him here at Oklahoma. This dude could really develop into something special. And the other guy that I'm really watching to see, does Todd Bates throw an offer out to him? What does Todd Bates decide to do? It's Braxton Kyle, a 6'4", 320-pound defensive lineman out of Swanee, Georgia. The big thing here with Braxton Kyle here is, and also with Joseph, is they're both in the state of Georgia. You've got several recruits in the 2026 class, elite dudes, whether they're at linebacker or the defensive line, that you would like to start to try to develop some pipeline there, especially out of Swanee. It seems like there's quite a few kids that come out of there. Braxton Kyle, currently committed to Rutgers. Offer sheet is not as impressive as Joseph's, but I'm telling you, 6'4", 320 pounds, it plays, and it might play for Oklahoma right away, especially if he comes in and he develops pretty quickly. So you look at Braxton Kyle, and a player that's perfectly capable of picking up an offer from Todd Bates. Oklahoma, if you guys are wondering, I was looking at their class predictions, right, seeing what they could end up in terms of the class calculator. I think they're probably going to be somewhere in the 280 range. I think that's their cap. They could go a little bit higher if they get Andrew Babalola, but I mean, at this point, you know, that's probably a far-fetched idea. So if you guys haven't already and you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that like, hit the subscribe button. I want you guys to continue to be a part of the community. And hey, OU football season's here, so we're going to be doing tons of content, especially in-season content. The 2026 class is rolling up, and we got something special coming up with 2026 recruits that you're not going to want to miss in terms of a special podcast. So make sure you're dialed in right here, checking our community tab, constantly running polls. Again, jump in the comments below, give me your thoughts, hit that like, and hit that subscribe button.